Hey, what's going on guys? Sir Amanon here, bringing to you a Lunalight combo tutorial involving not only the new Lunalight cards that we're going to be getting hopefully soon enough in Legendary Duelists 4, but also the new card Raid Raptor Wise Strix, which is extremely good in accelerating combos, not only of course in Raid Raptors and Black Wings, but also in this deck, which I find particularly exciting. Now first off, I want to give huge shoutouts to Azalea for coming up with a lot of the sort of foundational bread and butter ideas to combo oriented Dark Lunalights. A lot of the credit should be attributed to him. Go ahead and check out his channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description, as well as probably pin a comment. Do that, please, me in the future. But also, a lot of the combos with Wise Strix are things that I kind of just sat down and theory crafted on my own. So that's pretty exciting because the boards that this deck can pump out turn 1 are incredibly good, as the OCG has also experimented with that. Not only can we make strong boards turn 1, but being Lunalights, we have no problem converting that into damage the following turn. So that makes this deck extremely viable going first now, because we can make all sorts of crazy cards, as you can already have a glimpse preview in the extra deck there. But you're gonna just need 2 cards for this combo that I'm about to showcase, a Lunalight Tiger as well as a Lunalight Kaleido chick. Now the fantastic thing about this that makes me prefer this over, like, say, pure Raid Raptors is that these are all searchable. You have 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki to search either of these out. This can actually be a copy of Armageddon Knight, and if you do choose to search out the copy or the 1 copy of Armor Knight, you can play the Rhoda. You can play Foolish Burial Goods if you want to up consistency, which is something I've been tinkering around with more and more, because I really do just like seeing the same hands over and over. And this can even be a copy of Lunalight Perfume, because if you have a discard outlet, you're essentially getting to the same thing, because the Perfume can just search this and you can get the whole combo started anyway. So in effect, you have 12 like different cards that can serve the same purpose here for the Tiger, and then 10 to 11 for Kaleido Check, which is just incredibly awesome for consistency. Reminds me a lot of Vazoo. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start the combo. So start out by normal summoning Kaleido Chick. Nothing too fancy here. Gonna go ahead and dump the Yellow Martin, which is incredibly potent in terms of generating card economy, which of course the name of the game now is just using Tiger and bouncing it and reusing it and abusing it over and over and over again. Multiple times in a turn. Definitely the optimal way to use this card. So you're gonna scale the Tiger, use her effect, bring back the Yellow Martin to your side of the field, and then overlay her as well as the Kaleido Chick into your Raid Raptor Force Strix. Wasn't a big fan of this before the Lunalight support. With the Lunalight support, I'm like, okay, this is alright. And then with the Wise Strix, I'm like, holy moly, this is like the best starter slash enabler in this entire deck. So you're gonna go ahead, detach from Wise Strix, doesn't matter which material, because it's gonna be linked off anyway, and you're gonna search a copy of Raid Raptor Singing Lanius. Now you're going to promptly summon it with its own summoning condition, and then link off your 2 monsters into the Wise Strix. Now Wise Strix is super beneficial for this deck, because you're going to be summoning a copy of Zephyros the Elite, which, if you haven't picked up on it by now, is also very good at bouncing Lunalight Tiger. Speaking of which, you're gonna go ahead and bounce the Tiger right now with the Yellow Martin engrave. Bounce it back to your hand, summon it to your side of the field, and then you're going to overlay your 2 monsters into your second copy of Raid Raptor Force Strix. Now this serves a couple of purposes. First, the search target is going to be a Black Wing monster, so that when we revive this Zephyros from grave later, you can just summon it to your side of the field. Another body, very important later on, but also you can trigger your Wise Strix to set rank up cards, which is also extremely good for protecting your board and just making it even more powerful. So you're going to detach Zephyros here and search either Chris or Bora, doesn't matter which, they both basically just serve the same purpose of being able to special summon themselves, and then this in turn triggers your Wise Strix to set a rank up magic Soul Shave Force directly from your deck. This will be useful in just a bit. For now, we're going to scale the Tiger to summon the Kaleido Chick. We're going to use Chick's effect to send a copy Lunalight Wolf. This is going to be later for your follow-up turn, which I will explain later on as to how to close the game. So next, you're going to go ahead, activate your Zephyros engrave, bounce back your Tiger yet again, summon the Zephyros back, and then take 400 damage. Now, if you were to do this after the Soul Shave Force, you would pay half your life points, go down to 4k, and then take 400, going to 3600. But if you do it in this order instead, you save a precious 200 life points because of the way math works out. Could matter, probably won't, but just in case. You're going to go ahead and use the 4 Strix that was in your graveyard, and then overlay the Cyber Dragon Infinity on top of that. So realistically, your opponent's probably going to not hold their hand trap this long and use it on the Wise Strix, which is the correct play. But just in case, now you have the Cyber Dragon Infinity. Very good stuff. So you're going to go ahead and special summon your board the Spear since you control a Blackwing monster. And next up, you're going to summon your summon sources by using your Wise Strix as well as your 4 Strix. Now, if summon sources is banned by the time we get all of these cards, that's fine. We can just redo this combo, just manipulating the combo string ever so slightly, making use of like Rusty Bardache. Maybe we can go for like a Gumwar combo. There's a lot of options in the future. Granted, Gumwar is probably also going to be banned, but I digress. We're going to go ahead and use Summon Sorceress, targeting the board the Spear to summon Steam the Cloak. In theory, this can be any level 3 Blackwing tuner, such as Gale the Whirlwind. The problem I have is that you're going to not have enough monsters to the point where you can preserve your Rusty Bardache set, so in turn you will not end up with a Fall Blade if you have to use a Shade Brigandine instead. So that's something to keep in mind. I do recommend Steam the Cloak here. It just generates more monsters on its own, which is what we want. So we're going to go ahead and finish this portion of the combo by summoning F.A. Dawn Dragster, which is another spell and trap negation, to our side of the field, where Summon Sorceress points to on the left. This triggers a mandatory effect to Steam the Cloak. We're going to put the token here. If the token was not wind, that'd be fantastic, but since it is wind, we have to tribute it off by using the Steam's Graveyard effect. This sets you up perfectly to go ahead and summon Rusty Bardache using the Summon Sources, Steam the Cloak, and Kaleido Chick. These materials are the best materials because it puts the Kaleido Chick back in your graveyard while simultaneously keeping level 4 body on the field so that you do not have to use a Shade Brigandine like I was talking about earlier. This triggers Steam the Cloak yet again, which is unfortunately mandatory, so we do have to put it underneath the Rusty Bardache. Make sure you don't block off your extra monster zone because that would be very, very bad. But now you're going to scale back your Tiger, use her effect, and then summon the Kaleido Chick. Kaleido Chick can go ahead and send a copy of Lunalight Panther Dancer. Now what you're going to do here is make a very interesting dark rank 4 Xyz known as Evil Swarm Thanatos. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm going to go with it. So the only reason this is important, it has a neat little protection effect, but the important fact is we can use it right now as well as whenever we want on your opponent's turn because it is a quick effect. So the fact that you can use it whenever as opposed to like Karen Gorgon, which requires opponent interaction, makes this a lot better as far as what we're going to sneakily do on the opponent's turn. More on that later. For now, we're going to use Rusty Bardache's effect, dumping the Silent Boots to search a copy of Phantomknight's Fog Blade, set it to your side of the field rather, and then going to use the boots to search out the rank up launch. And then we're going to conclude that by setting that to your side of the field and passing turn. Now, on our opponent's turn, it's very critical. It didn't give me the window because I forgot to press down the A button here, but you are going to use Thanatos, most likely in the draw or standby phase, to get it down to 0 materials because the Phantom Knight's rank up magic launch requires a Dark Xyz material that has no materials, and it can only activate in the main phase. So the reason why that's a little bit inconvenient and why I value the Fog Blade so highly is that if you didn't know, people talk about like priority being eliminated from the game. That's not entirely true. That only really applies to ignition effect priority. But as far as player priority is concerned, your opponent does get the first action in each phase. So they will be able to do something in their main phase 1 before you get a chance to activate this, even if you do use this effect in standby phase. So in case you have a normal summon effect, or normal summon that has an effect on summon, you're going to want this to be able to stop that first effect from activating. But let's say that they don't have that and they start off by, say, scaling their own Lunalight Tiger because they're playing the best deck. So here, if you didn't use it already, go ahead and use your Thanatos. Get it down to 0 materials. and then activate the rank up magic launch, targeting your Thanatos, and then summon Outer Entity Azathoth on your opponent's turn. Now this is extremely busted. It stops your opponent from doing anything in regards to monster effects anywhere. Doesn't matter, hand, field, graveyard, deck, does not matter. Literally any monster effect, nope, you cannot activate it. And this does not start a chain, so you can't chain anything to it. It's just insane. And not only do we get this sweet full gate on our side of the field, but we also get to trigger our Phantom Knight of Rusty Bardache effect. So we can use it to pop if they like set a back row, activate a pendulum scale, do anything like that. Now, going back to a little bit of what I was saying earlier on with the Fog Blade, say they normal summon something like, I don't know, Soul Eating Oviraptor. Well, since they get the first action, Azathoth can't be summoned just yet because they have to do something first. So this is useful for negating that first effect. And then after that, you get the Azathoth on the field, they can't do anything afterward. You're all fine and dandy. The reason why these two are here is they protect from spell and traps, and then this protects from like other monsters. Like if for some reason they have like something to chain to your rank up magic launch, no problem, Infinity can negate it. This can negate random stuff like evenly matched Regeki, random board clears, or like powerful cards like Plot of Desire, stuff like that. And yeah, so that pretty much is probably going to end your opponent's turn. They probably won't be able to push through an Infinity plus a Dragster plus a Phantom Knight Fog Blade. So if they pass turn, which they likely will, we have a very easy follow-up here. So your follow-up is going to be using the Tiger that you still have in your scale, bounce the Lunalight Wolf to your side of the field. And note, we're doing this just off of 2 cards, by the way. You have 3 other cards in your hand when you start, and you're drawing 1 per turn. So the fact that this is all generated off of just 2 cards is wild. But you're going to go ahead and use the Martin, and then bounce your Wolf back to your field, and then scale it. Now since Azathoth isn't actually doing anything that great, you can do one of 2 things. If you were forced to use Infinity, you can activate it and then like put this underneath your Infinity, or you can just link it off into like one of your Nightmare cards to have extra zones. For the sake of the video, let's just assume that your opponent did in fact have some way to force this out, so just go ahead, sweep that underneath. That's all great. Now you can scale your Lunalight Wolf, and then activate her effect, banishing the awesome perfect materials that you had earlier, and then go ahead and summon your Lunalight Leo Dancer. This banishes a Kaleido Chick, which you can activate to lock their battle phase out, and then switch this to attack. That's definitely going to be game in the majority of situations. So as you can see, just having 2 cards, if it goes uninterrupted, pretty much is going to win you the game. Like welcome to combo decks in 2018, almost 2019 pretty much. Yeah, it's extremely powerful, and I think that obviously combo Lunalights are the way to go. If you go for just a straight OTK go second build, you're gonna face down boards similar to this that other decks can produce, and you're gonna have a hard time breaking them unless you saturate your deck with a lot of hand traps and non-engine cards. But here you can play a bunch of engine cards. You have plenty of room for non-engine cards like Ash Blossom, like Impermanence if you wanted to, since this is such a condensed combo that requires only 2 cards. And you have the added benefit of still being able to go and OTK the following turn. So I just think that because this deck is so inherently good at going second, you want to be able to, you know, switch gears, be able to go first, set up boards like this, and then just straight up swing for game next turn. But that's going to be it for this combo video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.